Welcome back to Fast Market here on the Schwab Network. It's time for cash tags. For that, let's bring in our next guest. It's going to be Andy Swan, co-founder at Likefolio. Welcome back to the show, Andy.
Thank you.
All right, so Delta Airlines, perfect timing on this one. Investor Day today, Ed Bastian was coming up, reiterating their guidance for Q4 and said that, they remain strong and resilient. They're executing well. What's your take here on Delta Airlines? Because it's just off all-time highs that we hit a couple days ago.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting timing from a Likefolio perspective, too, because we just got data in that somewhat contradicts all of the positive headlines that we're seeing. We're seeing headlines that consumers are less concerned about holiday travel costs, upbeat forecasts from Airbnb and Expedia, et cetera. When we look at web visit data for the four major airlines on a 90-day moving average, year over year, we're seeing all of them down for the first time in quite a while, especially with Southwest really tanking. And so, anytime I start to see data like this, and now there's a caveat here. Thanksgiving is later this year. We had a presidential election that disrupted or kept people home for a little while. But that said, I still always throw a yellow flag, not a red flag. I'm going to throw a yellow flag when our data is so contradictory to what we're seeing in all of the headlines, all of the upbeat forecasts, and quite frankly, the rising stock prices. So I think that there's reason for caution here in the travel sector. This may turn out to be just a blip on the radar, or it may turn out to be a canary in the coal mine. But in any event, when we see all four major carriers with a decrease year over year in web activity, that tells us that the consumer, while they may not be slowing down today, it's likely that they're going to be slowing down soon in those future travel plans. And so we just have a note of caution here into what seems like a united chorus of bullishness.
Yeah, Andy, we talk about the airlines a lot in this show. Yeah. And in calm markets or calm economic conditions, they can be volatile. This stock in 12 months is up 79%. Now, there is some good news. A Trump administration looking at lower crude oil prices, that's their largest variable expense for airlines. Yeah. So that could really soften all their expenses and allow them to maybe lower prices and keep pressure on those things. There is some good news out there. My hesitation that is in line with your data is this stuff can't go on forever, and this stock is up 79%. Yeah. It's just the odds favor something softer than this.
Yeah, the bar has been raised extraordinarily high, and I think that's what I'm getting at is, the airlines could come in with pretty good numbers, but given where the stocks have run and what the outlooks have been set at and what analysts have been positioning people to expect, a pretty good report is not going to be good enough to justify where these stocks are now. I will say Delta, we feel like, is the strongest of all of the carriers. They have pricing power that others don't have. They're, targeting the proper demographic in terms of, people with a little bit more money to spend. I think, Delta can benefit from that. On the other hand, United, I think, is up over 120% over the past year, just absolutely skyrocketing. We see that one as the most vulnerable. So we like Delta among the group, and United we have the most concerns about, strictly because of how high the bar has been raised, to your point.
Business Traveler News for the 14th year in a row named Delta their top carrier for business. And business travel's picked up, Andy. International travel has exploded. I saw some metrics yesterday. It's up over 30% from year-ago levels, people trying to travel over to Europe at this point. So I get the aspect that you're talking about where, hey, maybe this is the peak at this point because everything seems to be going right with lower fuel prices. Demand's still out there. But then you look at credit card debts rising to record levels. Delinquencies on loans is starting to pick up significantly a lot. Everybody wants to travel and do experiences, but at some point you got to pay the piper here. Is that a concern, according to any of your data?
Yeah, it is. I think that's what we're starting to see in the web traffic data. Even Google search data is down for flight availability. I'm not saying that the industry is going to tank. What I'm saying is that what the headlines and analysts in Wall Street have conditioned investors to expect may just be out of line with what is actually realistic into the future. And so, I would be cautious holding these stocks, especially United. I think Delta's best of breed in this group. Good to pick up on dips, but I think some dips are more likely than an extended rally in these names.
Yep. Caution warranted maybe at this point with the stock just below all-time highs, up 60% since the start of 2024. All right, great stuff as always. Andy, have a great day.